Since the dawn of man, it has been the innate desire and responsibility to pass evolved knowledge from one generation to the next. From the earliest cave drawings to Egyptian hieroglyphics, from hidden scrolls and leather-bound books to microchips, never has a generation passed where leaders of the era did not set out on the quest to teach their students of tomorrow. Enter the new millennium. Here, right now, many of today's top minds from all walks of life share what they have learned to create an abundant life filled with wealth, inspiration, success, and happiness, so that you may apply these powerful teachings. From government leaders to athletes, from motivators to movie stars, this is the chance of our lifetime to gain practical insights from one of the most dynamic, inspirational, and diverse group of modern-day heroes. And now they wish to share their strategies with you so that you too can learn it, live it, and pass it on.
Welcome. This is where your journey begins. And where are we? Well, we're at a bank. But we're at a bank like no other. Let me explain. While it has vaults, they're not filled with diamonds and platinum and gold. Now, these vaults contain items much more valuable. Rather than things, they contain ideas. They contain concepts, strategies, and wisdom that's been passed down over the years and made contemporary and relevant by today's greatest achievers. And like most banks, there are deposits and withdrawals. However, at this one, you could make as many withdrawals as you'd like and never deplete the resources. In fact, oddly enough, the more withdrawals you make, the more deposits seem to come in. Now, many people therefore call this bank the Bank of Sustainable Abundance. The vaults, these vaults that you're going to see here, are categorized into 4 areas: wealth, inspiration, success, and happiness. Why these concepts? Why these categories? It's simply because throughout time, these are the areas that people seem to strive for most in their lives. And you'll note that it makes an acronym, WISH. And then people will ask, are you telling us that we can wish our way to success? No, absolutely not, not even close. But what we are saying is this, that when you learn these ideas and put them to work, really put them to work, you can live a full life beyond your wildest expectations, and you can truly make your dreams and, yes, your wishes come true. Truth is that if you want these things to come into attraction, you gotta first take action. So I'm gonna ask that you keep your eye out for the common component here in all of the vaults, and that's called mentoring. Yeah, mentoring. It's the act of passing on, sharing information from one person to another. And mentoring comes in different forms. It could be one-on-one or through books or discs, courses, work, and videos as well.
One of the most important ingredients of success is mentoring.
Mentorship is really important to me because of the mentor I had. I played basketball at UCLA. I was on the first 2 NCAA championships there under the legendary coach, John Wooden. John Wooden went on to have that great run where he won 10 championships in 12 years.
You got something you want to do in a big way, find somebody who's been highly successful at what you want to do. Sit down with them. Ask them, how did you do what you accomplished? They'll tell you. You follow it, you can make it happen too.
If you want something in life, then align with someone who's getting the results that you want. Seek them out, do your homework, call them up, get persistent, change your approach. Do whatever it takes to find an outstanding mentor.
If you want to have mega success, you've got to have a mentor. I'm in a university and I'm in an audience that just wows me with Buckminster Fuller, and I just saw the guy who took over Einstein stuff. Albert Einstein was Bucky's mentor, Bucky was my mentor, and I saw his radial arcs of his auric energy. That afternoon I went to work for him, spent the next 7 years traveling the world with him.
He was the finest mentor there was because he called himself a teacher. That's all he was a teacher. All 180 guys like myself that played for him, we were taught by the finest.
The easiest way to become an expert at something is find a mentor.
Empower yourself with people that are better than you. Search for leaders, search for eagles, search for the people that you want to have as your mentor.
Mentors are everywhere. Find one with a style and a demeanor that you like, and remember, ask great questions and put the answers into action.
When one is willing, when one is available to be taught, to be receptive, the teacher appears.
My role models, my heroes, my mentors, Lincoln, Booker T. Washington, Patton.
He knew what we needed to do, all the fundamentals and all the work it was going to take to get to that point. And that's what a mentor does for you. He gives you the game plan, how to get to where you need to go.
And to make this system have integrity, you got to be a mentee to a mentor, and then you got to go on and mentor someone else. That's how easy it is.
The greatest satisfaction in life is helping other people and having an influence in their life and passing it on to them so that they carry the torch after you leave this world.
In just a moment, I'll press that button, which is going to spin the combination, relax the locks, and open the vaults. There you'll be introduced to your mentors who share with you on video and in their own words some of their contributions to this bank of wisdom. And when they do, they challenge you to the following. First, learn it. Take this information in. Ideas are going to spring forth like you're drinking from a fire hose. It's going to come fast and furious, and that's what you want. Next, live it. Put these ideas to work and really live a big life. And then, like the mentors you're about to meet, pass it on. Let's enter the first vault, wealth.
You are in the vault of wealth. Everyone wants to be here, but not everyone knows the way. In fact, it's been said you could ask 1,000 leaders how they became successful, how they became wealthy, and chances are you'll get 1,000 variations of how they did it. On the same note, ask these same leaders, what actual steps did you follow to get there? And you will find common denominators that each of them followed to go from where they were to where they are now. Okay, my catchphrase, my nickname, I know it's pretty cool, but a lot of people think I only mentor millionaires or I work with big giant corporations. And although that's true in pretty much what I do, I also mentor inner city kids in my hometown of San Diego, California. In fact, I want to share a story with you about a young man I worked with. His name was David. David the Goliath, I called him. 6'4" at only 14 years old. He was a really good kid. His father passed away and he didn't have a positive role model in his life. In fact, he got into a mentorship program because he stole a bicycle and carried a pocket knife to school. A no-no, and he knew better, but he was hanging out with the wrong crowd. So I decided to start working with him, and we built up a bond. It was wonderful. And about 2 months goes by, I could see he started progressing quite well. His homework got better, and he started making a difference around his household. So we ended up strategically over at a department store where we started walking around. And what do you know? We ended up over at the bike section. I said, hey, Dave, do yourself a favor. Go pick out any bike here and you can have it. And he looks at me and says, what are you talking about? I'm just a kid. I got no money. I can't get a bike. I said, great, let's leave then. He goes, no. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, pick out any bike you want here and you could have it. He was lacking the key ingredient for all wealth building: confidence.
You have to believe more than anything that what you want can actually be.
Your attitude is either the lock on or key to your door of success. It's the way you look at something in advance, because there never was a winner who didn't believe that he or she deserved to win in advance.
A high level of confidence is not something that everyone is just born with. I know I wasn't. So, and I need a high level of confidence for the work that I do.
How you choose to see yourself is how you'll see life, because there is power in confidence and self-image.
Become confident by the thoughts that you think, the words that you speak.
You're going to succeed in direct proportion to your confidence factor toward what you're doing. If you're willing to take the steps necessary to get confident in what you want to do, you can be highly successful yourself.
Confidence means I am confident that I will do whatever it takes to make my dream come true. If you don't have positive input, where do you expect it to come from? Start saying in every way, every day, I'm doing better and better, happier and happier, healthier and healthier. I'm alive. I'm alert. I feel great. Let's try that right now. I'm alive. I'm alert. I feel great with conviction and feeling. I'm alive. I'm alert. I feel great. Say it over and over, and the more you say it, the more you begin to feel it, the more you begin to feel it, the more you begin to act it.
You talk to most people in life, they want to change something outside of them. They want to change their career, their relationship, or they have other challenges in their life. But the real distinction is that when you change, your environment automatically changes.
We need to attract. We influence by attracting. It's not what we do to other people, it's what we do to ourselves. We transform ourselves into the type of people other people want to follow.
And life is a professional sport, not an amateur sport. Start playing it like a professional and you'll receive the results that professionals get.
Don't let someone's opinion of you become your reality. Learn to live beyond the good opinions of others. Live your dream, live your wish, because you can make it happen.
Confidence, confidence. What we'll need is confidence. Life is tremendous and it makes good sense when you face each day with confidence.
Then once he got that out of the way, I said, go ahead, pick out a bike. He said, okay, and he started riding each one up and down the halls like crazy. 30 minutes goes by and he walks over like a game show host and goes, ta-da! I go, what's that? He goes, this is the bike I want. I said, fantastic, then that bike is yours. He goes, I don't get it. How could I possibly get this bike? I says, well, now you have a clear visualization. You touched it, you felt it. That's called a goal. And the easiest way to hit a goal is to give yourself a goal to hit. He goes, well, that makes sense. He goes, but what could I do to actually achieve this? And I said, let me ask you, what can you do? He said, I could walk dogs, I could mow lawns, I could wash windows. And I go, what do you know? It's amazing how we can come up with a great idea once we have a reason why. And what you just created was called a plan. So he took action with that plan. And he created these flyers and he put them all around town. He ended up getting more jobs he could handle. Every time I pick him up, I'd say, where do you want to go? Movies, arcade? Back to the store. And he paid down on that bike. Once you know it, less than 2 months goes by. We're walking out of that store, and he's pushing that bike by his side. You've never seen someone with an expression on his face like that before. Smiles from ear to ear. I go, I don't get it. How in the world did you do it that fast? He says, I just implemented what you taught me about duplication. I go, what are you talking about? I know I've given you a lot of lessons, but what do you mean? He says it was like this. I was getting paid $10 a yard to mow their lawn. He goes, the other kids in the neighborhood started getting jealous. They were sitting on the curb watching me make all the money. I go, yeah, but what did you do? He goes, I hired them for $5 each to do the work for me. The next thing you know, he had an entire crew of people mowing lawns in the neighborhood, and he was just supervising. He tells me he even got a t-shirt with a magic marker and wrote Boss Man across the chest. He was incredible, and I was pushing it. I go, man, you little rascal, that's a great, great story. And we're pushing it out and loading it into the back of the trunk. I said, how are you feeling right now? Titanic goes out. He goes, king of the world! I go, great. I go, you're feeling pretty confident. Absolutely. I looked at him and I said, let me ask you something. He goes, what? I go, how would you like it if someone stole that bike from you like you did before? Oh, that hit home. From that point forward, he decided not to get in trouble anymore. In fact, he turned his entire life around and started mentoring other kids within the community. So much so that our local TV station came out and did a report on him, the most outstanding young man who turned his life around. He even had the same jobs 2 years later with other people mowing the lawns for him, all based on residual opportunities. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, that's a warm, fuzzy story and everything, but what does that have to do with me and wealth? It has everything to do with it. You see, he followed the exact blueprint that we discovered that all wealthy people did. You see, it all begins with this. He had a goal. Because without a goal, it's impossible to reach your destination.
One of the keys to success is clarity, because you can't hit a target that you can't see. But if you can see the target and you keep shooting at it, eventually you do hit it.
You know, in my life, I've lost my eyesight, and I spent the first half of my life with sight, and the second half of my life I've spent with vision. And they are both very powerful things. There are few things more precious than our eyesight. But if I had to make a choice between sight and vision, I would select vision for my life because it's made so many things possible, and dreams are all that we need to propel us from where we are to where we want to be.
For me, I wrote myself $1 million check because I wanted to be a millionaire. Then I went and I blew it up and I placed it everywhere where I had to keep seeing it so I could keep visualizing it so it became real.
Visualization was a key strategy that had been given to me, and I finally decided to do exactly what they said.
Visualization to me is a daydream with intent. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to dream. We lost it. We lost the very thing that we knew how to do that manifested what we wanted.
First, you must envision what it is that you're committed to manifest. Whatever that is, whether it's a new car or a new house, maybe you're expanding your business or attracting that relationship of your dreams.
You can't say just, I want to lose some weight, I want to make more money, I want a better job. What you say is I want to make specific amount of money, I want to lose a specific amount of weight, I want to be in this position, or I want to start this company. Deciding what it is with absolute clarity.
Specificity rules the world. It's numbers, it's how much, it's how long, it's when. You got to put it in concrete so that your mind can get a hold of it, because the mind is the most incredible biocomputer ever created. And it doesn't deal in vague, it deals in specific.
Okay, now once you have a goal, what's the next step? Well, just like Dave, he created a flyer. Remember I asked, what can you do? So many people focus on what they can't do or what they shouldn't say or where they shouldn't go. Wouldn't it be great to start asking yourself, hey, what can I do? What am I capable of? What could I do with my life without limitations? So Dave made his flyer. Remember, he'd walk dogs, wash windows, he'd mow lawns, he'd do whatever he had to do, and that's called a plan.
A goal without a plan is just a dream.
You know, in the airline industry, no plane ever takes off without a flight plan, without a destination in mind. And if you were to leave from the airport and deviate by 1 degree, you could miss the destination by 1,000 miles. Same thing can happen in your own life. File your flight plan, stick to it.
Imagine driving from Los Angeles all the way to New York City without a road map. Sure, you might get there eventually, but you need a specific plan.
Attention. Take your attention. You are so powerful, and direct your attention onto that thing that you are so passionate about.
Set a goal, then figure out what you have to do to achieve that goal. Then make a plan and take consistent daily action.
And then each day, wake up with specific things you're going to do today to accomplish a small part of a big goal.
You know, we wouldn't go to the grocery store without a list, so we don't waste our time, effort, and energy in the grocery store. And people spend more time planning their 3-day weekend than they do what are they going to do for the rest of their lives.
You know, everyone has goals, but they spend more time planning a party than they do their life.
Then you need to have a strategy. Imagine a group of construction workers trying to build a house with no blueprints. That would be crazy. So if you need clear, specific, defined blueprints to build a house, wouldn't you think that you need clear blueprints for your life?
Now, once you got the goal, and once you have a roadmap, a plan to get there, you need step 3. And step 3 is my favorite part, because David did something special. He did something, and that's called action.
There's absolutely no substitute for massive action.
I know this. Successful people understand that there's a law of attraction, but it's the action behind the attraction that makes the wish come true. You gotta think it, you gotta feel it, then you gotta do it.
The law of compensation works this way. There's got to be action, attraction that gives you traction. What happens is you decide to take the action, and the universe has the belief imprinted that you're really believing a thing, so you're going to achieve a thing. And then what happens by the law of attraction, you attract it right into your very beingness and essence.
We all have fears. We all have insecurities. But if you're going to accomplish something, you got to take action. Let me say something. If it scares you, do it for sure.
Don't disqualify yourself because of your fear. Make your visionary bigger than your fear.
You're scared, I'm scared. Heck, we're all scared. The difference between successful people and those that aren't
is that successful people do it anyway.
Success is a choice, not a chance.
And whatever you choose to believe, you make real.
For example, in physical fitness, people ask me, how do you get fit? And I say, do 1 push-up a day. Just 1. Now that sounds crazy, but you'd be surprised how 1 small action done consistently has a way of expanding on its own.
Just set a penny aside each day. It starts the habit. The habit is the most important thing. And every single one of us knows people who we think might be smarter than we are, but they're not doing as well in life. And what we have found, specifically in helping people build their businesses, is it's the people who take consistent action towards their goal that achieve the most success. It's not the smartest ones, it's the ones who do what they need to do every single day.
If we could make you a little bit less smart, it'd be a lot easier for you to just take actions. When someone successful tells you what to do, just do what they tell you to do. Quit thinking about it so much.
Get out of your head and get into life. Take some action now.
Okay, so now David's got it going. I mean, everything seems to be going his way because he's following through. But how did he get that bike so much faster? He did something. It's very important, and a lot of people miss this key ingredient towards wealth building. See, a lot of people leave their job and they go over to start their own business. They want to become an entrepreneur and they become their own boss. The only problem with that is you still got a boss. Whether it's someone else or it's you, you're still working for somebody. What Dave did was smart. He leveraged himself so he could do twice as much, twice as fast, and have twice the results. It's all about duplication.
We only have 24 hours in a day. When we can duplicate ourselves, we can accomplish so many more things with the same amount of time.
The power of duplication is you get to get out of the way. Wouldn't you like to have all the income, but you're not part of the picture? You still get paid for doing the things you did because you helped other people become empowered.
We didn't want a mega best-selling book. We wanted a mega best-selling book series. Jack and I got together, figured out what we were doing as a system, which means save yourself time, energy, and money. Then we did the system so well, we had other co-authors to help do books. Now we've got 147 books, and we're en route to 220 books very quickly.
I was about to give a speech somewhere, and they asked me to talk about my income. And as I was preparing for it, I realized I do not have one single source of income where I'm the only person who makes money. One of the best things you can do to create flow into your life and create wealth is to partner with other people. Then you make money, they make money.
And once we started selling, we sold a few to get the momentum going. We sold them from seminars, so we multiplied ourselves instead of 1-on-1, 1-on-10, 1-on-200, 1-on-2,000, 1-on-20,000. And then we got other authors to do that. Then we got to do it on media, and we got to do it in a multiplicity of different ways. So we've now duplicated ourselves, so there's 144 million books.
Wealthy people understand the power of duplication. It's working smarter, not harder.
2 years go by. And Channel 10, remember they came out and did a segment on him, the most outstanding kid who turned his life around? He still had those same positions he started years earlier, and he still had the young people working those positions. You know what the best part is? No matter what Dave was doing, he was still getting paid by their efforts, and that's called residual.
Residual income to me is like planting a seed once, but eating the fruit for the rest of your life.
Why do you want residual income? Because think about it for a second. Wouldn't you like to do something one time and do it right so you can get paid for the rest of your life? Most people go through life doing what they have to do just to make that check every week. That's not what it's about. You want to get multiple streams of residual income, so you have the choice.
Kind of interesting, one day I woke up to realize that I was living in a welfare mindset. What's a welfare mindset? Paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Even though I own my own company, I was president of my own company, I'm like going, you know, I've got to keep doing what I'm doing or I don't get paid.
I said that I was going to save 10% of everything that I made, and with every job, I was going to buy myself a really cool present. And then as time goes on, my savings is growing, that 10%. I then took that and invested it and continued to buy myself presents. And now I've got money that goes into savings, goes into my investments, it starts coming back around, and I get really cool presents.
You need to have passive income so that you can have freedom to do whatever it is that you love passionately.
Simply put, residual income is doing something once and then getting paid for it over and over again.
And then I realized that there was another way to live life, and that was the wealth mindset. What's the difference? It's called residual income and leverage of time, energy, effort, people, and money.
And what happens is it'll go out as wave propagation and it'll come back to you as sustainable, perpetual, residual income, which is the best kind of income there is.
And the final puzzle piece in this vault of wealth comes down to this final principle. I love this. You see, Dave understood something. Sure, he wanted that bike, he wanted that goal, but he surrounded himself with other people and helped them. You see, the other young men and women in the neighborhood, they were mowing the lawns for the $5, and they were working for their goal, their bicycles, their dreams. So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. To get what you want, help others get what they want first.
Greg, that was beautiful. That's what it's all about. Could you give us an example of that in real life?
Yes, actually, let me tell you a little story about someone that I surround myself with. His name was Jack. He's one of my greatest mentors I've ever had in my life. And I'm sure you know him. Do you know Jack? If you don't, then you don't know Jack.
I'm Jack.
You see, like a lot of leaders, I started my own business and I was having a tough time. And across the hall, I shared this business park with these people I called the grumpy old men.
I wasn't that grumpy.
But the leader of this group, he was a special man. I love this guy. And I figured he really was important because he did something that was incredible. He was president of something called
The Distinguished Flying Cross Society.
That's right. If you ever flew a mission in the war and you did some heroic deed, you got this award of honor, an honor it truly was. And the person who held it all together, his name was Jack. And one day I went across the hall, I said, Jack, I got a question for you. I'm having a tough time in business and I want to see if you could help me. And he looks at me and says, yeah, young man, come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'm going to take you out to lunch and I'm going to teach you how to become a self-made multimillionaire. I go, what? And he goes, come back tomorrow, I'll explain. Fine. I started leaving. You know me. I come back 2 minutes later, I go, Jack, I got to know, what were you, president? He goes, technically, yeah, you could call me president, CEO. But again, people just call me Jack. So we took something that was a small little idea and grew it into something very large. When you come back tomorrow, I'm going to show you how you could do it too. I said, thanks, Jack. I'm really looking forward to it and I appreciate it. So I left the building. I come back 15 minutes later. I go, Jack, I got to know. What were you president? What were you CEO? He was down on the ground fumbling through some papers and he looks up at me and goes,
Have you ever heard of Velcro?
I'm like, wow, I really want to learn from this guy. The next day we go to lunch. But here's the true key element towards a life of sustained abundance. And I said, what is that? He looks at me and he said,
Mentoring your way to millions.
He said, remember that old saying that says, treat people the way that you want to be treated? I go, yeah. He goes, that's a lie.
Treat people the way they want to be treated.
Treat people the way that they want to be treated. Because everyone's got different goals. Everyone's got different dreams. But if you can help them achieve what they are, you can have anything you want in return. So, wow, that makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to go back and implement it today. Every day I'd come into the office, there'd be a line of people waiting to get in. Do you know why? They weren't working for me any longer. They were working for